You some lyrics from the song American Life. I tried to be a boy, I tried to be a girl, I tried to be a mess, I tried to be the best. I guess I did it wrong, that's why I wrote this song. This type of modern life, is it for me? This type of modern life, is it for free? What do you mean by that?
That's, yeah, trying on different guises, different personalities, being a rebel, being androgynous, you know, doing all these kind of things, trying to be number one on the top. But I guess I did it wrong, meaning I'm 100% sure that getting people's approval is not a goal to have in life. I have all these things. I've experienced all these experiences, and I can tell you from my vantage point, which is what most people perceive as the top, that none of those things are really real. You know?
Let me play devil's advocate for a second,
Please.
because please do. Yeah, please stop me. Because it sounds a little bit like, Madonna, you're someone who's benefited from celebrity as much as anyone has and enjoyed it.
But I've also seen the other side of it.
Okay, but
as
you
well.
enjoyed the ride, and now it seems at 40-something years old, you're looking back and saying celebrity bull.
To a certain extent, I am.
Madonna's American Life, released in 2003, was one of the most divisive albums of her career, an ambitious, politically charged pivot that marked a sharp turn from the glittery hedonism of her past. When it released, it's fair to say that it was met with a wave of confusion and a mixed to negative critical reception. Many critics and fans struggled with its blunt social commentary, stark production, and jarring tonal shifts. At the time of its release, the world was in a state of global tension and drowning in a culture of consumerism. Madonna, always a cultural mirror, responded with a dystopian, introspective album that questioned American values, fame, and identity. Publications such as the New York Times called the album folky psychobabble. Rolling Stone gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and Entertainment Weekly referred to it as blunt and decisive music at a chaotic time. Some fans appreciated her bold attempt to grapple with serious themes like war, consumerism, and disillusionment. Others felt alienated by the lack of catchy pop hooks and escapism seen in prior releases. And commercially, it underperformed compared to her past releases. The icy reception to American Life was more than just a setback, it was a wake-up call. It showed Madonna that while Reinvention was her trademark, timing and tone were also crucial elements to success. And while American Life was cerebral, confrontational, and stripped down, the project that followed was everything the former was not. Euphoric, apolitical, and hedonistic. It was a calculated and highly effective return to what Madonna did best. In many ways, Confessions feels like both a reaction to and a rebuttal of American Life. Working closely with producer Stuart Price, Madonna crafted a seamless dance album that drew inspiration from the disco era and early 80s New York club culture, while injecting it with a spiritual and emotional core. In this video, we'll take a look at the revolutionary album that served as a cultural reset, reaffirming her place as the queen of reinvention, and proved she could still define trends rather than chase them.
You've gone back to your roots and just made a completely, fall to the floor, unapologetic disco album.
Yeah.
Why now?
Because I'm in the mood to dance.
Love music? Dive deeper into the stories behind the hits and hidden gems, and explore the eras that have defined some of your favourite artists. Subscribe now and never miss a beat. Hit that bell icon so you're always the first to know when I drop new content. Now back to the video. The recording process for her 10th studio album was a turning point both sonically and creatively. It marked a deliberate shift away from the stripped-back political angst and toward the glossy, dance-floor-ready euphoria that would define the next phase of her career. But before Stuart Price came on board as the album's key collaborator, Madonna initially tried to rekindle her working relationship with American life and music producer Mirwais Ahmadzai. The pair had already built a strong creative rapport. Together, they crafted the futuristic folk pop of music and the stark anti-establishment sound of American life. Their chemistry was rooted in experimentation. Mirwais brought glitchy, deconstructed electronica, and Madonna added her melodic sensibility and cultural commentary. So naturally, it made sense for her to approach him to start work on her next project. Early demos were recorded in London around 2004. However, something for Madonna felt off, and the vibe wasn't clicking this time around.
I met Stuart Price when I was looking for a keyboard player for my Drowned World tour. Actually, Mirwais suggested him to me. He played a record that he had made called Jacques Leconte, and I loved it. And I was told that he was very cheeky and talented, and I said, bring him on. So he came to play keyboards for me, and then I fired my musical director, and then Stuart stepped up to the plate and he became my musical director, and then since then we've just been writing songs together and collaborating on stuff, and it's been a great musical relationship.
According to several interviews, including one she did with Attitude magazine, she explained that the Confessions sessions started out casually, without pressure or a clear plan to make an album. She was experimenting freely, just enjoying the process. While she did work with Mirwais again, their creative dynamic felt too intense and cerebral for the fast, fun direction she envisaged. Stuart Price, who had been Madonna's musical director for her Drowned World and Reinvention tours, was already in her orbit. At the time, Madonna had been working on creating 2 different musicals, one of which was rumoured to be a story of a woman on her deathbed, reflecting on her life. And Price had been working on the disco-influenced songs for the musical. However, Madonna found herself dissatisfied with the script written and decided to scrap the musical projects completely. Instead, she continued working with Price, using the songs he had created as a foundation for her next project. Their creative process was spontaneous and unusually intimate. Madonna and Price would often record in his home studio, sometimes after rehearsals or late at night. This informality gave the sessions a relaxed, instinctual energy. Usually starting with a beat or groove, Madonna would then improvise melodies or lyrics on the spot. It was a back-and-forth dynamic where both artists fed off each other's instincts, often building entire songs in one session. Madonna was drawn to how Price made dance music feel emotional and not just functional. This feeling aligned perfectly with her vision. She wanted a record that people could dance to, but also told a story, expressed longing, joy, regret, and release, all without sounding heavy-handed. And it was this idea that became the blueprint for Confessions. The first 3 songs written for the project, Hung Up, Sorry, and Future Lovers, played a crucial role in defining the album's sonic identity and emotional arc. These songs became the foundation which the rest of the album was built on. After snippets of Hung Up made its way online, it was released in October 2005 and was the perfect choice as the lead single from the project. It carefully laid the groundwork for the album's sonic identity, drawing heavily from the glittering pulse of 1970s disco. At the heart of the song is the instantly recognizable sample of the 1979 hit Gimme Gimme Gimme. However, securing the rights to use it was no small feat. ABBA's Benny Andersson and Björn Ulvaeus are famously protective of their catalogue and rarely approve samples. To gain their approval, Madonna sent a personal letter via an emissary to Stockholm, expressing her deep admiration for their work and her hopes to incorporate the sample into her new project. However, both Benny and Björn had to think about it and didn't say yes straight away. After hearing how the sample would be incorporated, the pair agreed, on the condition of a licensing deal that granted them a substantial share of the royalties from the song's sales and airplay.
The whole ABBA sample Hung Up thing was a bit of a sort of happy accident. I mean, like I said, she was working on the soundtrack for this musical that it was going to be at first. And when we were talking about doing the disco section, she said, you know, I kind of want it to be like, you know, ABBA for the future. And at the same time, I'd made this instrumental track up that used that loop from ABBA just because I was DJing every weekend and I wanted something new to kind of take away and play. So it just happened to be around at the same time. And when she said, I want something like ABBA but set in the future, well, here was this track that I'd already been using in clubs and I'd seen the kind of response. So it was just, I don't know, sometimes, you know, like I say, happy accidents and coincidence and things fall into place at the right time, and that track was around at the right time. And I think that's why that became the starting point for the record.
That was Stuart's idea. I never get ideas about samples because samples cost money. But that said, if you're going to sample something from ABBA because their music is killer.
The very idea of sampling ABBA, you know, was Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. Mm-hmm. Were you an ABBA fan?
Oh, God, yeah. I love ABBA. I mean, they're amazing. They have such an amazing track record of amazing music, yeah. If you're going to sample anybody, sample ABBA.
Well, Benny and Bjorn very rarely let anyone do that, you know?
This is true. They were, you know, they were very clear with us that they didn't do it ever. And we did have to put on a bit of a song and dance for them. Yeah. But fortunately, they said yes, yeah.
What did ABBA mean to you? Or what do they mean to you?
Well, first of all, every one of their songs is like the soundtrack to something that happened in my life. And Dancing Queen is, you know, I mean, I'm sure that song was written about me. But I just love their music. And it's not just dance music. There's something very poetic about it. And they really inspired me. So to me, it makes sense that I would have an ABBA sample on my first single.
Tiny little early version of the video for Hung Up, and it featured the Dance Revolution game.
Yeah.
Did you jump on that when you were making the
film? I certainly did. It was fun. Hard. Exhausting. Especially when I couldn't use one of my arms.
Because you were injured. What was going on there? I mean, you had a fall, and what kind of injuries were you carrying?
Well, I broke 8 bones, so my whole shoulder joint wasn't healed yet, and I was still in a lot of pain, and a couple of my ribs hadn't gone together. So I had to try and invent a dance and use the machine without putting weight on my left arm. So that was a bit of a challenge.
How did you get the guys from ABBA, the guys and gals, I guess, from ABBA to give you the sample?
It was Benny and Bjorn that we went to. Well, I wrote them a letter. We played them the song. I mean, hopefully I conveyed to them that my respect and admiration for everything they've done. Their music seriously inspired this record, but I've always loved their records, and I think the clincher was that they liked the song.
And of all their songs in their catalog, why Gimme, Gimme, Gimme?
Because it's got a killer hook in it. Why not?
Their approval gave Madonna the key ingredient she needed. With that infectious ABBA hook anchoring the track, it helped Hung Up become not just a nod to disco history, but a full circle and cross-generational moment, bridging her club roots with global pop nostalgia. Musically, the song blends elements of dance, synth pop and disco, and is built around a pulsating beat. The track balances nostalgic familiarity with modern production, and the string arrangements and subtle use of an acoustic guitar create a dreamy layered sound that feels both energetic and hypnotic. While the sample provides an instantly recognizable hook, Madonna transformed it by adding a steady groove and a dynamic chorus, allowing the song to stand on its own as a fresh pop anthem. The ticking clock sound heard throughout the track serves as a metaphor for the anxiety around wasted time, a motif inspired by Price's earlier remix work. Lyrically, Hung Up explores the emotional tension of waiting for someone who isn't showing up, reflecting themes of impatience, desire, and vulnerability. Though rooted in relationship drama, it's also an expression of resilience. As with much of her work, the lyrics reinforce Madonna's enduring message of empowerment through honesty and emotional strength. Ultimately, the single helped to reintroduce disco to a generation that had largely written it off or never experienced it firsthand. This was during a time when disco wasn't exactly popular in the mainstream, and choosing to tap into this genre was a bold, risky, and unexpected move, but it was one that paid off.
You're ready to sort of really, start the promotion for Confessions on the Dance Floor, and bang, you have the horse accident. Did you for a moment, when you're lying on the ground, think, oh my God, what have I done?
No.
No.
No, when I was lying on the ground, I was in shock. I think a couple of days after, when the pain set in and when I went to the doctors and he told me how long it was going to take for me to heal, he said 16 weeks before you can do anything. Forget about dancing, forget about this. I'm like, but I have to shoot a video in 10 weeks. He's like, well, you're not going to. And I said, you watch me.
And you did.
Yeah, but it was
with painkillers in your hand. The whole
It was very painful, yeah.
I can dance, but I can't move my arm to this. I rattle when I dance like a pill bottle.
Then you do the MTV Euro Awards, opened the show and absolutely slayed them again, Again, you must have been sort of in pain.
I wasn't by then. No, I was okay by then.
Well, it was sensational.
The video is for Madonna and for the new single called Hung Up. And we're working with these extremely amazing dancers all the time. So we're having these little sort of moments of music meets man and woman all the time. I guess that's the concept. Music meets man and woman, and they have a love affair, and they make babies, and the babies leave, and they move to Portugal to become fishmongers.
Well, this whole video has been inspired by Saturday Night Fever. It's tribute to John Travolta and that whole era, all that jazz, Bob Fosse, a chorus line, Olivia Newton-John, we love you. John Travolta, you are the man. The movies I watched to get inspired for this video are Perfect, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and John Travolta. Saturday Night Fever, starring John Travolta, and Grease, starring Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. I've got my weenie disco rolls working, and I watched the movie like 20 times before we shot the video. And I hope that we've, done it justice and then some, that we've, taken the old and made it new.
Sort of Madonna's idea. She wanted to do a video where her music sort of confronts all types of kind of subcultures in the world of dance. Whether it's crumping or popping or locking or ticking or, come on, fill me in, I don't know any more of these words.
My name's Ariane Phillips. I'm Madonna's stylist, and I've been working with her for the past 8 years. Here we are in London working on the video, got a couple costume changes. It's exciting.
It's a backbone to the whole thing. We have Madonna in a rehearsal space as she is dancing on her own, practicing her moves so that she can utilize them when she goes out, meets these guys.
And then this couch is a part of Madonna's setup in her dance studio scenario.
We see her in the dance studio rehearsing, and she's wearing like a kind of a ballet-esque dancer costume, and it's a leotard with a wrap kind of ballet top, but done in kind of slightly nicer fabrics. So we did that.
I think they suck. Don't worry about it. We'll glue them on better later. Your hands are too jittery. Excuses. Just cut the booger off. I think it's easier for me to do it. Of course they suck. They cost about 3 pounds. Look, I did it. Do I have to do everything myself? I can dance, but I can't move my arm to this.
Just to think, she has had 8 broken bones or something, and now she's doing this?
Let's get physical.
No, she's been totally fine.
I need something to get me up. I need something to take me down. An anti-inflammatory, an analgesic.
Her injury hasn't bothered her at all, I think.
I rattle when I dance like a pill bottle.
The good old Dance Dance Revolution machine. And Madonna actually does a whole dance on this thing, which is very cool and really, really hard.
We're now going to move into shooting this arcade. And now, so we're in Tokyo now, and we're shooting in an arcade. We just flew over here. And we're going to do actually a pretty cool thing, a dance battle on the sort of very Japanese dance machine.
Here we got, no, these are not Madonna's daughter's jeans, these are hers. These are our special new jeans made by Prada, courtesy of Ms. Mucha, so thank you very much. And we've got this old school, what we call a leotard. This is vintage real thing, baby, from the 70s. And we're rocking a dance belt, sequin dance belt, also vintage from back in the day. We're kind of homaging different dance styles. So we have these boots that are Madonna's favorite boots that seem to have cropped up on every important photo shoot in the last few years because they're so darn comfortable.
I can't get rid of these furs.
We shot Madonna by night on the street, which was a pretty cool scene, actually.
Johan! Johan, I think that was really good. I'm ready.
Okay, one more rehearsal, please.
Oh, camera A and B, please, and playback.
This vintage jacket, we looked high and low at every fashion jacket, and there was nothing better than this hooded, dope, leather vintage jacket, courtesy of Annie, who works with me.
I bought it about 7 years ago at a thrift store in Utah, in the middle of nowhere. It was a sort of like Christian thrift store. I think I bought it for what would be the equivalent of 5 or 10 pounds.
Cut! Okay, camera back to on. Check this out.
I forgot to sing.
But you smiled.
Andy, you lift my hair.
Check this.
I get away from the Swedes lately because I worked with Jonas Åkerlund on many videos, and I worked with Johan Renck on my Nothing Really Matters video, and I said, that's it, no more Swedes. And here I am making the first video to my first single, and I'm working with a Swede again.
We got a boombox, got it traveling like an Olympic torch, traveling through all these groups of people and with the music.
The kind of surreal, dreamlike piece of the video. Down here, kind of making it look like she's within a disco ball, which is cool. So this imagery will be projected onto her.
Hung Up was sort of like the starting point for the rest of the record. We had done a whole bunch of things before that, and then when he gave me the track for that, I wrote the words to the song in 5 minutes, driving around in my Mini.
The music video was directed by Johan Renck and filmed the same month the single dropped. Madonna's scenes were shot in London, using Pineapple Dance Studios for the dance sequences and the Trocadero for the arcade scenes. While the video appears to feature cities such as London, Paris, New York, Los Angeles, Shanghai, and Tokyo, the actual filming locations were limited to sets just in Los Angeles and London. A London suburb was styled to resemble a Parisian neighbourhood for the parkour sequences. A restaurant in London's Chinatown stood in for Shanghai, and Compton was used to represent the Bronx. The original concept for the video was actually very different to the final product. David LaChapelle, who was the video's original director, envisioned a documentary-style concept. However, creative differences between Madonna and LaChapelle led to the project being reassigned to Renck, who the singer had previously worked with. With limited time to prepare, Renck jumped into the project quickly, working from Madonna's emailed ideas and assembling the creative team. Madonna wanted to feature performers from her tour, with the intention being to showcase a diverse range of dance styles and talent, including crumping, breakdancing, jazz, and disco, highlighting the physical expression behind the music. Since filming in multiple countries wasn't possible, the goal was to give the video a global, omnipresent feel. A boombox was used as a symbolic and literal unifier, echoing the roots of street dancing culture. Her choreography was inspired by Travolta's iconic dance scenes in Saturday Night Fever and Grease. Shooting her dance scenes took around 3 hours, despite the fact she was still recovering from a horseback riding accident that had left her with 8 broken bones. She powered through the physical demands of the shoot, modifying certain moves due to her injuries, but remaining committed to delivering a high-energy performance. She was also hands-on in the post-production process, working closely with Renck as a supervisor during the editing phase. Madonna wanted the video to have a raw, documentary-like aesthetic, favouring realism over glossy perfection. Renck reflected on the experience as intense but rewarding, describing it as a whirlwind of creativity and connection with the team. Before the song's official release, a snippet of the song was first heard during a commercial for Motorola's then-new mobile phone. A few weeks later, the track officially premiered as an exclusive on Ryan Seacrest's radio show.
And the Material Girl is back at work herself. This is Madonna's first gig since her accident, which took place at her country estate Ashcombe House when she was out riding with Guy. She suffered 3 cracked ribs, a broken collarbone and a broken hand, hence the cast. So why on earth is she squeezing into a phone box with other musicians like Alanis Morissette and Little Richard? It's a commercial for a new mobile phone.
Biggie, no!
Madonna was clearly moving delicately around the set, but her sling, which was specially designed to blend in, was barely noticeable. The ad features music from her new single appropriately called Hung Up. Besides a camel, the cast is made up of a galaxy of stars, including the one and only Iggy Pop, being, well, Iggy Pop.
Take two.
And action.
It certainly was a tight squeeze in that phone box, but I'm sure the £4 million+ Madonna reportedly earned for the day's work made the pain more bearable.
It was clear that Madonna had embraced a bold and forward-thinking approach to music promotion that extended far beyond traditional marketing. At a time when the music industry was rapidly shifting, marked by declining CD sales and the rise of digital downloads, she aligned herself with powerful tech giants. But these partnerships weren't just about visibility. They reflected her ability to adapt, innovate, and remain culturally relevant in a changing landscape of the music industry. The partnership between the pair was mutually beneficial. It helped Motorola remain competitive alongside Apple, who were rapidly growing in the tech space with their iPod and iPhone. The pairing helped to raise awareness of Motorola's new device due to Madonna's global fan base. Madonna's image was used in promotional campaigns, and the collaboration also included exclusive content offerings. Certain editions of the phone came preloaded with Madonna wallpapers, ringtones, and sneak previews of the song. But this also helped Madonna too. It allowed her to continue her notion of reinvention, adopting the industry trends and the changing of the landscape. Madonna had the foresight to see that music was being both distributed and consumed in a different way. And this partnership was a way to insert her music directly into the everyday lives of a younger, more tech-savvy audience. It also associated her brand with cutting-edge design and lifestyle, reinforcing her status not just as a pop star, but as a tastemaker who was always ahead of the curve. Perhaps even more significant was her partnership with Apple. In 2005, she appeared alongside Steve Jobs to announce that her entire music catalogue was going to be released on iTunes. This partnership was about positioning Madonna at the forefront of digital distribution.
The second piece of exclusive content we've got today is also very exciting, and it's Madonna. Madonna has so far resisted putting all of her songs online. You could buy a few of the albums elsewhere, but never buy song. And today, Madonna is announcing that she is putting all of her albums, all 15 of her albums, on iTunes by album and by song. And we are really, really excited about this. So there is, of course, a whole Madonna page and all of the albums, and I think this is going to have been really worth the wait. So what should we do about this? Well, I'd like to thank her, so let's see if we can call her. She's in London, and iChat AV knows no boundaries, so let's see if we can get her right now. Hey.
Hi, Steve.
How you doing?
I'm good. We've got to stop meeting like this.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to thank you for putting all of your songs on iTunes. We're super excited about it. And, you know, I know you beat to your own drummer, but when you decide to do things, you do them in a big way. So thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I tried to hold out as long as possible.
She was one of the first legacy artists to fully embrace Apple's digital platform, offering pre-orders, exclusive digital singles, and early access content. This move not only introduced her to a younger generation of listeners who were shifting away from physical formats, but it also showed that she was ready to evolve with the music industry rather than fight against it. In addition, Madonna promoted the single with live performances which spanned the globe from the US and UK to parts of Europe and Japan. Perhaps the most iconic performance was from the MTV Europe Music Awards, where she emerged from a glitter ball, helping to convey the tone for the album's disco revival. These promotional moves were key as they covered multiple countries, formats, and audiences, showing Madonna's mastery to take full advantage of both mainstream and niche channels. The promotion strategy helped her reimagine what pop promotion could look like in the 21st century. By partnering with companies like Motorola and Apple, she fused pop music with consumer technology, placing herself at the crossroads of innovation and entertainment. It was a masterclass in reinvention, not just of sound, but of strategy. The single was a success and received widespread critical acclaim. Reviewers praised its infectious energy, strong production, and smart use of sampling. The song was described as a lighter, more playful cut from the album, and many noted that it marked a strong return to form for the singer. Critics highlighted the way the song balanced emotional tones, calling it both joyous and melancholic, with a sugary pop coating that still manages to pack a punch. It was noted how easily Madonna channels a youthful, almost bratty spirit through the track, with some calling it her most irresistibly commercial single since her 1980s heyday. The ABBA sample was especially praised, with many impressed by how it was woven into the track so seamlessly that it felt more like a brilliant mashup. Commentators appreciated its cleverness and nostalgic pull, noting that the track swings from start to finish with undeniable energy. Some drew comparisons to contemporary pop and dance productions, while others said the song stood out on its own as possibly her biggest hit since the Ray of Light era. It was clear that it was the ideal way to open both the era and the album, setting the tone for a non-stop dance experience. The commercial performance also reflected this, with the single reaching #1 in 41 countries and earning recognition as one of the most internationally successful singles of all time. It sold over 5 million copies worldwide and played a key role in re-establishing Madonna's dominance on the pop charts. In the US, the single made a strong debut on the Billboard Hot 100 and quickly rose to the top 10, becoming one of her highest charting singles in years. The track would quickly go on to be certified platinum. In Canada, it was the fastest rising radio single of the year, reaching #1 on the contemporary hit radio chart in just 10 days. In Australia, it also debuted at #1, setting a new record for a female artist to have the most singles top the chart in the country's history. There it remained in the top 50 for 23 weeks and was also certified platinum. Across Europe, Hung Up dominated the charts, securing top positions across nearly every European country, including Germany, Italy, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. In the UK, the single debuted at #1 and became Madonna's 11th chart-topping single. It was her biggest first-week seller since 2000, staying at #1 for 3 weeks and remaining on the singles chart for 40 weeks. Its massive chart performance across continents highlighted not only her enduring global appeal, but also her ability to evolve while staying true to her dance floor roots. The song has been widely recognized as one of her most iconic and impactful singles of the 2000s. It consistently appeared on numerous year-end and decade-end best-of lists. What really set the single apart was how effortlessly it blended old-school disco influences with forward-thinking pop production, and showed that, even 2 decades into her career, Madonna could still define trends rather than follow them. Four months later, Sorry would be released as the second single in the US and UK. Whilst the song was one of the first recorded for the project, it actually took Madonna the longest to complete. The track, which once again mixed dance pop with disco, carries a theme of personal empowerment and self-sufficiency. Unlike earlier tracks such as Everybody, Vogue, and Music, which celebrated the power and culture of music itself, Sorry turned inward. The lyrics didn't seek forgiveness or reconciliation, they dismissed apologies altogether. Instead of asserting dominance through music, the song channeled emotional frustration and self-assurance, reflecting a more personal and introspective side of the singer. Sonically, it opens with a pulsing synth bass line before a steady 4-on-the-floor rhythm kicks in. The track is accented by sleek, buzzing synths, giving it a slightly darker, more mechanical texture. The chorus is instantly catchy but more clipped and defiant, as Madonna sounds firmer and less nostalgic. Her vocals are layered and treated with slight effects, adding to the cold detachment of the message. As a follow-up single, it feels like the morning after the dance floor high. If Hung Up was about waiting and yearning, Sorry is about confrontation and moving on. It's the perfect continuation, still rooted in disco revivalism, but heading into more assertive, emotionally complex territory. The visual picks up where the last single left off and carries the narrative forward, revealing the next chapter in the story. One of the key highlights are the roller disco aesthetics, which balances old school fun with more modern styling. Madonna and her dancers learned to roller skate specifically for the shoot, adding a dynamic physicality to the performance.
So we're doing a Madonna video. This is for Sorry. This is the master setup. This will run through the whole video. It'll cut back to it every time. And it's also the first thing we're filming with her. So, I'll go ahead.
Now I realized while casting the video, looking for good-looking guys who can dance, or guys who can dance that are good-looking, that I have the best-looking guys who are the best dancers already.
This video is basically a continuation from the first video, the first single, which was Hung Up. So you'll see a lot of familiar faces and characters from that you've seen in the first video. I have Cloud, class clown if you will, the crazy guy. Hypnosis, even crazier. I got Miran, trustee, we love Miran, he's the kind of popper. And then I've got Stephen Norm, who you might remember, and also the ladies, I have Miss Prissy.
She would be one of the 7 dwarfs, Dopey or Sleepy.
I have Addie. And I have the lovely Sophia.
She's shy. You come with us, we are gay. Well, in between each take, maybe you can give me a pep talk. Tell me how I am doing, something to think about for the next take, some kind of inspirational thought. Creative motivation.
I really like when you move your hand. This is sexy as fuck. This right here, that is bomb.
You mean when I do that? Yeah.
Damn.
I'll do that more. I need to see Tim Morris-Jones and Jamie King together. It's a very funny combination, don't you think? I'm just so used to seeing Tim and Guy.
Also, I had the pressure kind of because he's worked with Guy, Madonna's husband, Guy Ritchie.
The two camps have fused.
He understood what I was looking for, the shots, the angles I was trying to capture choreographically. So it was really nice to work with him.
Perfect, that's great.
I wanted to do roller skating in this video. It was part of the concept. A lot of my dancers did not know how to skate, so you'll see them here in the video skating their butts off.
We had an amazing teacher, actually. It was a guy by the name of Fred. Guy is hilarious.
Hey, I'm Fred Talixon. I'm the skating choreographer for the roller disco scene from the Sorry video for Madonna. So check it out. Pretty awesome, huh? So, honestly, this has been a really incredible experience.
This is always so happy. Okay, guys, come on, let's skate. It's time to skate. Let's skate. Come on. Where's the energy, the love, the power? Let's take all that, put it in one pot, stir it up, and let's eat it.
I've never worked with Madonna before, so when I found out I was going to get to come and choreograph her and teach her how to roller skate, I was really, really excited. I got here, and she had never worn roller skates ever before in her life. So she told me, I'm going to hold on to you the whole entire first lesson, which was like 3 hours long, and don't let me fall, and you have to hold me up. And I was like, I will carry you for the rest of your life. It's not a problem. So it was really amazing because she couldn't skate at all. And in the last, I think it's 2 weeks, we've worked like 2 to 3 hours every day. And she has really, really become an awesome skater. She can do all these tricks. It's amazing. You'll see in the video. You will not believe it.
The dancers in this video, her actual dancers, not the extras, none of them can skate. None of them can skate.
Yeah, give me action, baby.
Yes, I taught them that.
So we have some unexpected characters that get picked up along the way this time on our journey of the kind of all-night disco dance experience that's going on here. Madonna and her girls, Addie, Sophia, and Miss Prissy, they get into their pimped-out van and they go on a journey and they pick up some hot guys and some not so hot guys.
my character, who is called Aaron. I'm just like walking down the street when the pumped up Madonna'Mobile kind of like screeches up, and these two ladies with beautiful love muffins just grab me and pull me in the van, and then I'm in the middle of the van and I'm with Madonna, and it's Madonna, and dancing with Madonna, yeah. It's awesome.
And we got a muscle guy that gets picked up. We got a guy who eats a lot of donuts, by the way. The ladies pick them up, pull them into their pimped out vehicle, and have a great old time with them.
Je suis désolé. Lo siento. Ich bin traurig. Sono spiacente. Perdonami.
Something that I think that everyone will quite like is Madonna in a cage. I have her in a cage battle. Another great kind of surprise that happens is that Little C, as one of the stars of the movie Rise, who is quote unquote the king of crump,
also known as the KOK, abbreviated version. On the Madonna video shoot, this is the last day of the shoot. I'm ready. I think we're nearing the martini shot. This is the final shot. This has been a real vigorous video. Does anybody know where Tyrone is? We got a cage battle between my crew and Madonna's crew. I'm leading my crew. I'm sitting here like this. You know what I'm saying? Madonna's leading her crew. She got the girls on her side, and me and Madonna is really just going at it.
Nobody would dance with me at school in the high school dances because I danced too crazy.
5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8.
All my life I wanted to be in the other side. No, I mean, because when I was in high school, I was a cheerleader.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, for the football and the basketball team. But I was jealous. I wanted to be the athlete, and I wanted them to cheer me up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh! 5, 6, 7, 8.
Best thing about this battle is it's inside of a cage.
I'm in the zoo, give me food!
A real steel cage. We doing choreography off the cage, choreographed by the Tyler Wager brothers, Tone and Rich. Y'all know them.
Man, what's up, man? What's about to happen now? We're setting up the shot to establish the people coming into the battle, to the cage. You know what I'm saying? The little cage is going on right here. There's a big time battle between Madonna and there's some other boy crew who's supposed to be cool, you know what I mean?
So basically everybody's gonna be running in, running in like maniacs, all crazy and wild, and jumping on the cage, climbing up, getting on top of the roof of the cage. Everybody's swarming around. It's gonna be massive, it's gonna be cool, man.
Pay attention. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shoot that shit.
Is that okay?
We have it, actually. It's good to know we're gonna have it in the season.
Oh, okay.
Got the whole skating, roller disco jump off going on, fused with the new hottest dance style, which is crumpet, created by myself and my boy Todd Eyes. So it's like a fusion, and the best idea came up by Jamie King and Tyler Wager brothers and Madonna. So you got, you know, all these creative minds, you put them all together, and you got this hot ass video that's gonna blow everybody's socks off.
We battled in the roller skating ring, we battled in the cage. Where do we go from here?
Dancers!
You're killing me.
Too.
Warner Brothers, you're killing me. Okay. This is what I do to sell records. I hope you motherfuckers appreciate it.
Evil, Richard.
Oh. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
That was really
You're
good.
happy about that one?
Really happy.
Oh, good.
Really good. I'm glad we got that.
And I hope the video doesn't offend anybody, but even if it does, I'm sorry.
The centerpiece is a stylized white van, which was retrofitted with velvet walls, disco balls, snakeskin textures, and plush lilac interiors, transforming it into a mobile disco sanctuary. This van, which was transformed on the show Pimp My Ride, represents freedom, escape, and female autonomy, and created a self-contained world where Madonna and her dancers dictate the rules. As they drive through the city, the group selectively bring men into their world, flipping traditional gender dynamics. They're not being pursued, but choosing who enters their space. The video's turning point arrives when Madonna, caged opposite a group of men, confronts them in a power struggle. The imagery of the cage underscores themes of confrontation and liberation, showing that she is no longer content with being confined emotionally or physically. By the climax, the tone shifts from confrontation to release. Everyone roller skates in unison, a symbol of unity, movement, and euphoria. The single received widespread praise for its dramatic energy and bold attitude. The production, with its nod to the 70s and 80s, all while feeling contemporary and fresh, was celebrated, with many considering it a standout moment on Confessions and a strong follow-up single. It was described as polished and catchy with a propulsive blend of shimmering synths. But beneath its dance floor sheen, the song delivered a clear message of self-respect and emotional independence. Some retrospective reviews have praised it as one of Madonna's best dance tracks and a confident, club-ready anthem that proved she was still able to set the tone for pop music well into her third decade of success. However, commercially, the single experienced varied chart success across different regions. In the US, it had a modest performance, debuting at number 70 and peaking at 58 on the Hot 100. Despite its low radio airplay, a point of frustration for fans, the single performed well on dance charts, peaking at number 1. In the UK, it debuted at number 1, marking Madonna's 12th chart-topping single, and solidifying her as the female artist with the most number ones in the region at the time of its release. Across Europe, the track also experienced strong success, reaching number 1 in multiple countries, including Italy, Spain, Greece, and Romania. Overall, Sorry was a major international hit, reinforcing Madonna's global appeal, even if US radio support was limited. Originally, Jump was planned to be the third single. However, the decision was made to release Get Together instead, as at the time it had stronger digital sales. The release of the third single also aligned with the launch of the Confessions tour in 2006, making it a strategic choice for promotion. Musically, it blends elements of disco, electropop, trance, and techno, with lyrics exploring the desire to find a connection. Madonna poses questions about love and destiny, before ultimately dismissing illusions in favor of an emotional experience. The lyrics reflect a mix of hopeful longing and introspective doubt, capturing the push and pull of the romantic possibility in a club setting. The track also features lyrical nods to earlier dance and pop influences, including references that echo both Madonna's own past and other classic club anthems. Despite the limited promotion, the single received generally positive reviews, with many praising its hypnotic and uplifting sound. The song was noted for its fluid production, emotional yearning, and anthemic chorus, blending dreamy synths with pulsing club beats. Critics highlighted its strong sense of atmosphere and praised the seamless integration of vocals with layered electronic textures. While most reactions were favourable, some felt the production lacked depth or polish compared to the previous two singles, with a few reviewers describing parts of the track as dated or uninspiring. Despite the mixed opinions on the production, Get Together would go on to earn a Grammy nomination for Best Dance Recording. However, the mixed opinions also meant that the single struggled to gain traction, particularly on US mainstream charts, with the song failing to reach the Hot 100. Limited radio airplay significantly affected its visibility, with the song receiving minimal exposure from pop stations. Internationally, the single saw better success. In the UK, it debuted in the top 10. Across Europe, it secured top 10 placements in several others, including Hungary, Finland, Italy, and Croatia, and in Australia, it debuted at number 13. Whilst on tour, it was confirmed that Jump would serve as the fourth and final single from the project, with the track being sent to radio in September 2006. The concept for the song originated with Madonna's brother-in-law, Joe Henry. Joe initially presented the concept to the singer and would collaborate with her to turn it into a full song. During an interview, Madonna agreed with the notion that the track served as an anthem for many young people, particularly within the LGBTQ community. The message of the song was to encourage them to take a leap of faith to find freedom and opportunity. Sonically, the track blends elements of synth-pop, techno, and disco, creating an energetic sound perfectly aligning with the dance-driven aesthetic of the album. While wrapping up her Confessions tour in Japan, Madonna filmed the music video in Tokyo, working once again with director Jonas Åkerlund. Shot across various outdoor locations as well as a soundstage, the video introduced a new look for the singer. It prominently showcased the art of parkour and dynamic stunts across the city's architecture. Like with many of Madonna's videos, the visual reflects the song's themes of empowerment, taking risks, and embracing change, key ideas expressed in the lyrics. The parkour symbolizes overcoming obstacles, breaking free from limitations to fearlessly move forward. Madonna's confident movements and interaction with the metallic rods represent strength and self-expression, further reinforcing the song's message. The neon signs displayed in the video with the words "Madonna" and "Jump" in Japanese highlight the global cross-cultural aspect of the song's message, encouraging everyone, regardless of background, to embrace change and self-belief. When released, critics praised its empowering theme, catchy melody, and energetic vibe. The song was described as sexy, fluid, and perfect for stadiums or clubs. Some compared it to Madonna's earlier dance hits, calling it a potential new classic. However, a few critics found it less impressive, describing it as sounding somewhat dated or filler material that lacked any impact. Commercially, the single peaked at number 5 on the Bubbling Under chart, again missing the Hot 100. In the UK, it debuted at number 59, but quickly rose to number 9, becoming Madonna's 4th top 10 single from the album in that region. Across Europe, where the era was seeing much of its success, the song reached number 1 in Hungary and Italy, and placed in the top 10 in several other European countries. In Australia, it debuted and peaked at number 29, demonstrating a more modest performance. As the era started to wind down, it was interesting to look at the commercial performance of all 4 singles released. And while it's not evidently clear why the final 2 singles failed to impact charts, particularly in the US, there are a few things that do stand out. The early singles had the advantage of catchy familiarity, strong promotional efforts, and radio support, while the later singles faced challenges in airplay, audience appeal, and stylistic niche positioning. That infamous sample used in Hung Up instantly gave it wide appeal through a familiar hook. It was both catchy and radio-friendly, and had massive promotional backing. Sorry also had strong dance pop roots, and benefited from the momentum from the first single. The later singles suffered from limited radio airplay, particularly in the US. Industry reports indicated that pop radio stations largely ignored these tracks, reducing their exposure to a wider audience. Naturally, the lack of airplay significantly impacted their visibility and chart performance. This was also compounded by the fact that Madonna was on tour when both singles dropped, meaning she was not able to heavily promote the latter 2 singles. When the album released in November 2005, it was viewed as a return to form. The album was an extension of the singles released rooted in dance pop, disco, and EDM. The record was structured like a continuous DJ set that starts light and upbeat before moving into more intense personal themes, hence the title Confessions. Madonna aimed to create a non-stop listening experience suitable for parties or driving, without breaks for ballads. Samples and references to classic disco and dance were also incorporated, with nods to artists such as the Pet Shop Boys, Donna Summer, Depeche Mode, and Daft Punk. One of the deep cuts on the album, Isaac, stands out as the closest to a ballad on the project and features vocals by Yitzhak Sinwani. who performs parts of a traditional Yemenite Hebrew poem.
One of the tracks on the record has caused a bit of a stir.
Really?
Isaac, isn't that the song that's causing a bit of a bit of controversy right now?
So I've been told.
So you've been told. What have you been told specifically?
I'm told that people think it's a song about Isaac Gloria.
Right.
Which it's not.
Oh, okay.
At all.
So where did they get that?
They just made it up.
Oh, okay.
Like most things.
Right.
It's called Isaac because the singer who sings on it is named Isaac. And I couldn't think of a name for the song, so I called it Isaac. It's as simple as that.
Because there was this furor, if you will, or
I know,
reaction.
but these are people who never heard the record because the record's not out yet. So how do they know what the song's about?
Despite controversy from some religious figures who misunderstood the song's inspiration, it was named after the vocalist, and not the Kabbalah scholar they referenced. The song incorporates ancient spiritual themes and was constructed by sampling Sinwani's vocals to create a chorus around which Madonna wrote the lyrics. Lyrically, the album blends Madonna's musical past with new confessions, referencing earlier songs and themes from her career, with tracks that touch on fame, personal growth, gratitude, and social commentary. The project received widespread critical acclaim, earning a strong average score on review aggregators, with many praising it as a triumphant return for the singer. Critics highlighted the album's seamless dance pop production and noted how it successfully blends catchy beats with a mature, confident sound. Reviewers described the album as Madonna's most commercial and beat-focused work in years, celebrating its energy, cohesiveness, and vibrant homage to disco and club culture. Some pointed out that the first half of the album was especially strong, while a few felt the later tracks lost some balance. But overall, critics agreed it reaffirmed the star's relevance in the music world, showcasing her ability to once again reinvent herself and create a vibrant dance experience that resonated with both longtime fans and new audiences. Confessions on a Dance Floor achieved massive commercial success worldwide. It sold over 3 million units in its first week and went on to become one of the best-selling albums of 2005, with total global sales reaching 10 million. The album also topped charts in Canada, the UK, and various parts of Europe, receiving multi-platinum certifications and maintained a strong chart presence throughout the era. The album would go on to earn major acclaim, including a Grammy Award and wins at the Britain World Music Awards. Critically, it was highly praised, appearing on many year-end and decade-end best of lists. The influence of the album on the music landscape was immediate and widespread. It signaled that the dance floor was back, not just as a space for club DJs, but as the heartbeat of mainstream pop. After years of the charts being dominated by R&B, hip-hop, and pop rock, the success of Madonna's disco-infused sound opened the door for a wave of electronic and dance pop to take over the charts. In 2007, Kylie Minogue released her 10th album, which leaned heavily into electro-disco aesthetics following Madonna's lead, and Lady Gaga would soon build entire personas around dance pop, drawing inspiration from Madonna's fusion of fashion, club culture, and confessional lyrics. More recently, Dua Lipa's future nostalgia echoes Confessions with its disco revival, seamless dance floor flow, and retro-modern blend, channeling Madonna's club-ready energy. But for Madonna, Confessions on a Dance Floor wasn't just another reinvention, it was a reminder of her power to redefine the sound of pop music. For the industry, it was a clear sign that disco and dance pop were viable again. Many fans continue to credit the album as one of her best, as it perfectly blends her pop sensibilities with cutting-edge dance and EDM. For long-time listeners, it felt confident and forward-thinking that paid homage to her roots. The album's seamless, non-stop mix stood out as a bold artistic move that fans embraced. Its emotional arc, moving from joy to introspection, resonated with listeners who appreciated depth in dance music. On forums, social media, and retrospective reviews, Confessions is frequently cited as a top-tier album, often ranked alongside classics such as Like a Prayer, Ray of Light, and True Blue. It's seen not just as a highlight of her 2000s output, but a defining moment in her entire career.
To me, this body of work is beautiful, and you can tell she took her time with this body of work. You know, there were certain intricate details that you feel, you cannot even describe.
Album is probably, I don't want to say, I'm gonna say it's the best Madonna album that I've listened to so far, but I also want to say it may be one of like top 5 albums that I've listened to in my life. I think this is my favorite Madonna album. Is this my favorite? I think so.
Out of all her albums from this century, Confessions on the Dance Floor represents Madonna at her boldest, simplest, and most fearless.
But from the standpoint that you're an artist, you work, you clearly put everything you have into what you do.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's wildly successful.
And sometimes it's not. And I'm grateful for the ability to be able to ride that because, there's another side to success, and that's, what's perceived as a failure, but I don't perceive it that way. I think,
the previous CD.
Which was the worst selling album of my career, but one of my favorite records ever. But what I'm grateful for is the ability to just keep doing what I do, and just, okay, people didn't accept that, fine. Pick my crown up off the floor, put it back on my head, and keep going.